What's up? My name's Glueboy, welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing more Chaos Gods. Like I said last upload, today we're talking about Khorne, the Blood God, Lord of the Brazen Throne, big angry warrior man. He is a great Chaos God. Second favorite, easily. I'm going in list of, my favorite Chaos Gods here. Fantastic. However, just warning you preemptively, might be a little bit shorter, because there's not a lot of complexity to a guy whose entire MO is murder things horribly. So I'll give you all the fun facts I can, but if it's a little short, that's the reason. Also, real quick before I get into it, I was recently invited on a podcast by Voxcast to Nowhere. The podcast episode is up. It's been up for a few days. I've linked it on my Twitter and community posts, so make sure you're looking at those actively. But yeah, go watch this podcast. I think it's a really good episode. I loved recording it. Fantastic guys. Voxcast of Nowhere and Hyperspace Hobbies, both fantastic. So give them a watch, give them some love, comment on their shit. But yeah, Khorne. Khorne is the god of anger, hate, bloodshed, rage, all those feelings. And you can see this in his followers. You have his Space Marine Legion, that's the World Eaters, or just random Khornate worshippers that are angry, hulking brutes that are mindlessly angry and will murder anything they see. Like pleasant people all around. Which Khorne himself came into being fully around the Middle Ages of Earth, when, a lot of horrific wars were going on. And I do mean that specifically. The fully coming into existence is different from being born. The Chaos Gods have existed as long as there have been people in the universe to think, but a lot of them were in more of a reduced state that then later popped up, especially when humans came around, because humans are really, really tapped into the warp and psychic bullshit. But Khorne would also only pop up to real major prevalence, like all the other Chaos Gods, when Slaanesh was born, because Slaanesh shook the whole shit up. This made it so the traveling through the warp was less like a situation of let's travel through the warp, hey, lock your doors, we're going past Khorne's realm, little pocket of the warp, just, it's a little unsafe, let's drive a little quicker, to every time you're in the warp, you're beset on all sides by demons trying to murder you. So, big difference. Like with Tzeentch, like I mentioned last time, there actually are some positive benefits to Khorne that actually engage with them. Again, the Chaos Gods are evil, horrible pieces of shit. They directly enjoy and take part in a lot of awful things. But their existence does actually rely on some positive emotions, because Khorne is also deifies ideas of honor and bravery. The ideas of fighting the honorable fight. And worshipping Khorne can also be, creating rivers of blood and killing hordes of people, but also having one really cool, long, drawn-out duel against a person that you might lose against. Having that one-on-one, no one interrupts combat. Big fan of that. He also hates any idea of cowardice, running away in the face of danger when you could have done something. He's like his least favorite shit. Which actually comes up interesting enough when one of Khorne's followers, because there was a duel between Khorne the Betrayer and Azrael, the chapter master of the Dark Angels, where Azrael was in that situation of shit, we're both pretty evenly matched, we could easily kill each other here, but had to break away due to plot reasons, and was actually I feel a little bad. I know Khorne's entire thing is having that honorable duel and I'm kind of depriving him of it. Then that's a major thing for Khorne, and also engages with their tactics. They're all very upfront melee because of that reason. In actual Khornate following and, their armies, using guns is really frowned upon. There's actually a cool thing in Hammer and the Bolter. There's a bunch of Khorne cultists. One pulls out a pistol and the leader of the cult chops his hand off and yells at him for using a bitch weapon. You use swords. They also hate orbital bombardments. They can't stand it. Even space combat, fire the Ursus claws. They are boarding harpoons for spaceships. That's their entire MO. Which also, I think Khorne is probably one of the most recognizable things of Warhammer, other than just general Space Marines existing, because everyone and their moms has heard the fucking phrase, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. Everybody's heard it, because that's Khorne's entire shit. He just wants people dead. And if you look at his rendition of him in the Warp being this giant warrior sitting on a throne, surrounded by mountains of skulls and rivers of blood, that's all he wants. That's all he cares about. And beside all those talks about honor and stuff, it's also undermined in a way because that's a justification that some Khorne worshippers who are starting to get into it start saying, oh, I'm just an honorable warrior, I'm doing the honorable thing here. In reality, there's one phrase that's pretty big in Khorne following is, Khorne cares not where the blood flows, all other is artifice. Because you dying horribly also gets Khorne happy. He does not care. Infighting, yeah, have fun, bud. Because that also directly leads into a method of Khorne worship. In Khornate religion, you don't build anything, because building things is pointless. That doesn't do any martial combat. You destroy things. So if you're not killing a person a day as a Khornate follower, you're displeasing your god. And I mean, you can do a little bit of shrine stuff, but if you want to get extra brownie points, you can just kick over a Slaanesh shrine, because that's another thing. Khorne fucking hates Slaanesh. He cannot stand them, because Slaanesh is the chaos god of excess, pleasure, and also does like to murder. Likes to murder a lot. However, they don't do it in honorable combat. They kidnap you and slowly kill you. Or they're all weird about it and they're doing it for self-gratification, not the glory of battle. Cannot stand it. Another chaos god that Khorne hates, which I mean, all the chaos gods hate each other. They all cannot stand being around each other at all, but each one has their own special rivals. He also can't stand Tzeentch, because Khorne believes magic is cringe. That's his reason. He just thinks it's you're a pussy if you're a wizard. So he ordered the World Eaters to kill all their psychers early on. To fully, that was your test. You want to really devote yourself? Kill every psyker. Also, a common gift he gives out to people is actually psychic resistance stuff. So you just don't have to deal with it. Honestly, a pretty decent blessing for how horrifying psychers can actually be and the powers they have. And then, leading into other stuff, his special number is 8, which I think is literally only 8 because it sounds really similar to hate. I mean, Games Workshop's not the most subtle group. I mean, they named the angry Primarch Angron. Khorne's favorite follower is Khorne. But again, there's no actual main reason that I can find of why they have a number like this. However, it's very important to actual Khorne religion because the number 8 is very specific for certain rituals you do. Specifically, actually, any Khorne demon character that dies, for them to be revived later, they have to go through those 8 trials. And then, much like the guy himself, his demons, not super complex, because they're just the basic rendition of demons and devils. They're red, have big horns. It's pretty obvious. They're the basic stuff, your standard infantry dudes, your bloodletters. And then you have the big ones, the bloodthirsters. They're pretty cool. There's a lot of cool bloodthirster characters. There's also fleshhounds, which are pretty interesting. Fleshhounds are extra funny because their collar that they're wearing is, like I said before, it's a psychically resistant thing. It's a collar that specifically wards off magic, so they can charge in and go maul some psych. Or if you're extra special this year and Khorne gifts you something fun for all your hard work, you can get yourself a Juggernaut, which is a giant metal rhinoceros mount that he'll give you. He's here's your horse now. And it's horrific. It looks dope, but this obviously, it's a Khorne thing. It murders things horribly when it touches them. And then, last but not least, this is a part I have a lot of fun researching. If you say, dedicate yourself to Khorne today, what gifts would you get? What could you expect from your patron? A lot of weapons, that's for one. But first things first, the Mark of Khorne. Because the Mark of Khorne is, the first thing you'd get. He marks his brand on you, literally just etches itself into your skin or is a searing hot brand, where he gives you a portion of his battle rage and anger. So you start to just get angry and mad, and you start losing any sort of self-preservation or fear. you're not scared anymore to go into combat. You just want to murder. And which allows you to do extra crazy things because you're just hopped up on adrenaline the entire time. And then there are a bunch of fun weapons you can get, like the Axe of Khorne, which is so imbued with bloodlust, it will literally like attack more. You swing faster with this axe because how hopped up it is on Khorne, like anger energy. And it basically is just you add like a speed buff on a weapon in an RPG or something. Then you have another fun one, the Berserker Glaive, which is a glaive with a really cracked out bloodthirster inside of it, who is so, again, hyped up to murder that he'll just start swinging. And I mean, you gotta be careful because you have to actively control this glaive, because if you're not careful, it'll just strike out at whoever. You might make a swing and then the glaive makes its own swing and decapitates your friend. And then, much of a similar notion, the Axe of Blind Fury, which again has another insane demon inside of it. But this one, you need to wrestle with it because you might accidentally attack yourself. Because Khorne cares not from where the blood flows. Which makes me just think, it's like when you play Krieg in Borderlands 2, and you get that ability that has a random chance to just smack yourself in the face when you melee. That's all this is. And then moving away from weapons, there's a few other fun little buffs you could get, like the Blessing of the Blood God, which is real fun. Khorne has this, which just makes you immune to psychic attacks. And obviously only saved for his very special boy, Khorne. Khorne, so special that he has his own mountain of skulls just for Khorne, something he's so proud of. And then another one is the Talisman of Burning Blood, which is interesting because it lets you control your rage. It lets you lower it in a way to control it, or even control the rage or the people around you. Or alternatively, you could use it to make you somehow angrier and make your friends angrier, so you pop off even harder in combat. I assume that's the more picked option for Khorne worshippers. And yeah, that's literally it. I dug deep for some fun facts about Khorne. He's what you see on the tin. He wants to battle, he wants to murder, blood for the blood god. Nothing more complicated. Most I could do later is something I might do where I make a video on some cool demon characters, because Khorne's got some good ones. I like Kabanda, I really like Scarbrand, they're great. But anyways, if you like this, like, comment, subscribe, do that stuff. Join my membership, watch the Vox Gas of Nowhere podcast episode I was in, and yeah, see ya.